it is a film about making film. It is a film about a real transition in cinema history, and it's also approaching it a way that no one's done before. No one has ever depicted that time in Hollywood the way this film does. And I think people are going to be really shocked. I mean, I was shocked when I started like doing my research, because I think you think of the 20s as being quite, buttoned up and Charleston, and, we've seen that depicted on screen in a very polished way. And actually, it was just such an insane and debaucherous time. It was just wild. She's an aspiring actress. She kind of catapults into the film, and she is trying to get into a Hollywood party, and she's not on the guest list. She's not invited, but she is going to get into that party no matter what. And she's just arrived in Hollywood, and she's going to be a big star. She knows she is. She knows that's what she was destined for. But she comes from nothing, and she's going to take it. She's not going to let anyone stand in her way. And she meets Manny, Diego's character, who helps her get into the party. And that kind of kicks off their relationship. They keep crossing paths, and well, you'll see. It's madness the way they used to shoot back then, out in the desert in broad daylight, because there's no sound. It was like a cacophony of noises. It's so different. And which, of course, in the movie you then see how different things are once you enter, the stages and the studios, and you have mics, and everything has to be so quiet. But to begin with, it's like it's all blaring, harsh sunlight and crazy noise, and all the sets next to each other, all filming at the same time, and that's how they used to do it. And pouring asbestos for snow and whatever, and it's just madness. I think there's something just innately pure about Manny, and Nellie senses that the very first time she meets him. And I think it's the way he looks at her, kind of like from the night they meet. He kind of looks at her like he loves her and would do anything for her. And I think the selfish part of her recognizes that could be helpful for her. And then I think the hopeful part of her kind of recognizes that no one's ever really looked at her like that, with like a pure kind of love, not kind of a destructive kind of need or desire. So I think she knows deep down that Manny will always look after her or do whatever he can. When you're acting, knowing that you're shooting on film, and knowing how rare that is these days to get to be able to do that, it feels so special. And you see this in Babylon. You can literally hear when a roll of film rolls out. There is this, it's just magic, because you just want to give everything on that take. And before you start a take, they'll say how many feet have we got left? And they'll shout out, okay, we've got such and such amount of feet left, of film. Can we get a whole take for that? No, we'll never make it. Okay, take it from that line. Okay, go. Are we rolling? I mean, there's this moment, there's this feeling of like, we have to get it now, and it's going to be printed on celluloid forever. Brad is exceptional in this film. I mean, I'm a huge fan. He's exceptional in everything. But there's something really special. And maybe it is that thing of like seeing an actor play an actor that feels like a little bit like you're seeing, I don't know, it's like you're seeing behind the curtain or something. And he's such a movie star in real life, and he's such a movie star in this film. But he's also, the character is incredible, and he does incredible things with it. But he really says the things, his character says the things that I know Damien feels about the film industry, and about that we all kind of feel, why it's special and why it matters. And he articulates it. Jean's exceptional in this film, and we all know she's a brilliant comedic actress, and so you get such pleasure out of all those little quips, those moments, and her accent and all the stuff she's doing. You just eat it up. It's so good. But then her dramatic moments are just I can't think of another scene in a movie I've seen in any recent decades that has hit me in that way. It's so impactful and special, and she delivers it beautifully. Lady Faye has this composure that Nellie is never, ever, ever going to have. And I think it's so perplexing to Nellie that she can be all these things and then hold it so still at the same time. I think stillness is something that Nellie is just never going to achieve. So there is something so intriguing and magnetic about Lady Faye. And Lily is, Lily's done Broadway. I mean, obviously she can sing and dance. She's exceptionally talented on a lot of different levels. But she brings that energy to Lady Faye that just really sets her apart from all the other characters in the film. So many of us are like running around like chickens with their heads chopped off. It's just madness all the time. Even Jack Conrad as, Brad's character, even as like smooth and suave as he is, he's still like a loose cannon. Like he's still, he's still like insane and in these insane relationships all the time and just like, getting drunk all the time and all this kind of stuff. But Lady Faye is just badass. Was it worth it? Oh my God, yeah. I think it will be the thing I'm most proud of in my entire life and my entire career, but also my entire life. And the biggest challenge, I would say, was just having the stamina to be Nellie. Like, she is so exhausting. And I've played exhausting characters, and I know I can. I have good stamina. Like, I've worked with directors who do 20-hour days and make you improv the whole thing. And I've worked with directors who don't give you a script and push you to the brink. And I've worked with all kinds of directors, and I love it. And I know that I can handle it. I'm never like, oh no, I can't. I'm going to be too tired to act today. Like, I know I don't have that mode. I can keep going. But Nellie is the hardest character by far that I've ever played. Oh my God, Damien is the greatest. He is one of the greats of our generation. He is an auteur. I'm so lucky I got to work with him. And he is like our Scorsese, our Fellini, he is that. He is one of those greats. I have an endless... He is the first director that I ever felt like I was let off the leash with, too. And maybe it's because it was this kind of character. If we did a different movie together, maybe it would be different and our process together would be different, for sure. But having him, and the way he feels about this film and about making this film and about writing Nellie and the way I wanted to play Nellie, it was just, like, explosive. And it was the first time I felt like I went pedal to the metal. Like, I've never really put my foot completely to the floor. It was like, yeah, and he let me do that, and I was be forever grateful for that he let me really, really go for it and expected so much of me. I love that. It's an eyeful. Yeah, you're going to see things on screen where you're going to be like, are they allowed to do that? Because I remember when we were shooting it, I was like, surely we're not allowed to do this. Like, surely this will never make it on screen. Not in this day and age. You can't do anything anymore.